Have you ever wondered why your sales are slipping even though you're creating more products than ever? Here's a thought. You might be stuck in creator mode when your business desperately needs a CEO. I learned this myself the hard way when my own sales started slipping despite cranking out new products left and right. See, I was making whatever I felt like creating without any real strategy behind it. And I hadn't taken the time to step out of creator mode, which, let's be real, that's my favorite thing to do in my business. I hadn't taken the time to step out of that creator mode and put on my CEO hat to think strategically about my business. So, today I am sharing the difference between creator mode and CEO mode, plus how to know which one of those hats you should be wearing right now to get your business back on track. So, let's start with the fun stuff that most of us love. Here's what creator mode actually looks like. This is doing the things that most of us think of as the fun part of our business. We are imagining and creating new products, maybe even designing social media graphics or website pages. It's those things like creating and recording new video trainings or courses, even things like podcast episodes and blog posts. Maybe you really enjoy tweaking website layouts and product designs. Maybe you get caught up in tweaking and adjusting your logo or your brand fonts. These are the things that for most of us as creative entrepreneurs, they light us up and they feel fun. But sometimes we can get stuck in this mode and not move on to the CEO mode. See, a creator mode feels productive because at the end of the day, you've made something. You can physically see what you've accomplished, and that is energizing and exciting, and it feels good to check something off a to-do list and have a physical product or a digital product in our case that we have done today. Now, creator mode is obviously super important. Our creativity is that thing that sets us apart from our competition, that makes our audience love our products. It's what makes us unique. But where things get tricky is that most of us can often get stuck in creator mode and avoid CEO mode. So the less fun reality is that CEO mode is important. It is doing the business of running your business. So when I say CEO mode, I'm talking about things like looking at the money and reviewing data, setting goals based on your metric, making those strategic decisions based on some data analysis, updating your offers to make them sell better, but not just based on what you think you should do, based on the data you've looked at. Even things like hiring and training team members is part of that CEO mode, and it's important for running a growing business. Now, if you sat there listening to all of that thinking, oh, that sounds terrible, I totally get it. These aren't usually the fun parts for us as creatives. But the hard truth is you can't wear both of these hats at the same time, and your business needs them both. So what I have found works for me is to make a conscious shift between modes. See, both of them matter because as important as the creative work is, without the CEO work, we can run ourselves and our business into the ground, cranking out tons and tons of products with no strategy behind it, or spending forever and ever in the weeds of tweaking tiny things on our website or our logo that aren't really making a difference in our business. So both roles are super important. But the thing that trips most of us up as creative entrepreneurs is that the CEO work doesn't feel as productive. Like I said, that creator mode feels super productive because you've done something. You have a thing at the end of the day. Where when I'm in CEO mode, a lot of times at the end of the day, what I have is a to-do list. And that doesn't feel so much like I've accomplished anything. In fact, it can sometimes feel like you just gave yourself more work. The reality is, though, that work that you've come up with for yourself out of your CEO time is better quality work. See, the CEO time that you put in now sets you up for doing the right creative tasks later, for making the right strategy-based or data-backed changes to a product or a sales funnel, by preventing you from some endless trial and error of just, well, this product isn't selling as well as I want, so I guess I'll try this and wait a little while. And okay, it hasn't really turned around, so let me try this new idea. Let me go to ChatGPT and see what ideas they can come up with for me. See, when we do that, we get stuck in this cycle of trial and error constantly. And we're doing all this work that maybe the data could have told you wasn't going to work in the first place, or was addressing something that's not even the problem. So when we put in the time on that CEO work, it can really help set us up for better creative work down the road. For me, I have to treat these as separate things. I have to put tasks on my to-do list that I know are CEO tasks and other tasks that are creative. And I do this with a little bit of time blocking. It's pretty casual in terms of the way that some people talk about time blocking. I don't have a set hour of the day that I must do CEO work or anything like that. But generally speaking, I do have a monthly CEO day. So every month on the first of the month, I do some CEO tasks. These are essentially the things that you need to do to kind of close out the previous month and get ready for the next one. So during my monthly CEO day on the first, I am looking over the numbers. I am paying invoices that need to be paid on the first. I'm paying my team and myself. I am looking at things like taxes that might be due. But I'm also looking ahead at the coming month. And I am kind of making some strategic plans for how I'm going to spend my time during each week. What things need to get done by a certain week. If I've got a big sale happening the third week of the month, then I know in weeks 1 and 2, I'm going to need to do some email writing and things, getting ready for that sale. Now, on a weekly basis, I also drop in a few CEO blocks for those tasks that just need to be done every week. Things like responding to emails and actually addressing whatever was in them. You know, it can be easy to put off answering an email about an error in a product or something that's not working the way that it's supposed to, or, you know, someone who has a question. But those things are important for keeping your business moving forward. So I drop in some CEO blocks for those every single week. Now, for me, and this may be totally different for you, but for me, I do my best thinking and deep creative kind of work in the mornings. So my mornings are when I block out creative tasks, and I do the CEO stuff in the afternoon when I'm not feeling as creative. Maybe my energy is down a little bit and I just need to sit and kind of, check things off a list and not have to do a whole lot of deep thinking. You may feel the exact opposite, and you might need to do the CEO stuff in the morning, or maybe you do all your work in the evenings and on Saturdays. Whatever you do, you just need to think about your own energy patterns, the way that you work best, and make a plan to block out some time for that CEO level work that you need to do for your business. So here's what I want you to do. Start with some monthly CEO time. Block out the first of the month for a half a day or so, 2 to 4 hours, depending on how much you need to get done. During that time, you want to do things like reviewing last month's numbers, paying yourself or your team, any kind of financial tasks that need to get done, and start looking ahead at the coming, mapping out what you'll need to get done during each week. Put it in your calendar now on a recurring basis and treat it as a non-negotiable. I block it in my calendar with a recurrence on the first every single month, and it is marked as busy time, so nothing else can get blocked in there. And then every week, add some little weekly CEO blocks as well. 1 or 2, maybe 3 shorter blocks of time. For me, I do that during my low energy times. And this is when I am handling emails, fixing issues, maybe checking over some weekly data if I've got things like ads running that need more frequent data checks. Just keep in mind, like I said, you need to schedule this to match your energy levels. For most people, you need to schedule your creative work during those peak energy hours when you are most effective and excited about work. And then schedule the CEO work for the times when you might be feeling a little more drained and less creative. If you're just getting started with this idea, start with just 1 hour a week and just build a habit of blocking that into your schedule. At the end of the day, your creativity is absolutely what makes your products and your offers special, and it sets you apart from everybody else. But without the CEO work, it's almost like you're creating into the void. You don't have any strategy behind it. You're just throwing things out there and hoping that they work. Really successful digital product sellers know when it's time to create and when they need to lead their business because a successful business needs both. So, my challenge for you is to look at your calendar right now and ask yourself, when was the last time you really, truly, honestly put on that CEO hat and did the CEO work? If you can't remember, then maybe it's time to schedule some CEO time in today. I'll talk to you soon.